Okay, I've been waiting for this and now I have it. I'm very excited. I got this box from Lens Rentals, and inside this box should be the new Sony A9, which I intend to test with about 8 of my Canon mount lenses on Metabones adapter and on Sigma MC11 adapter. And I just want to see if the autofocus works. Alright, let's open it. It's exciting. Alright, I have to be careful about how I open this box. Okay. Inside this box there's some plastic box, and inside the plastic box we have a case, and inside the case, I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited. I've never even touched this camera before. Here it is. Here it is, the new Sony A9. Let's see. It feels very close to A7. I thought it would be different. I thought it would be much larger than A7R2, but it feels just like A7R2. So with the Sony A9 and 2 adapters that I have, Sigma MC11 and Metabones 4, I will test autofocus on multiple Canon mount lenses that I have. There are tests online already about some of the lenses, but I have a collection of EF lenses. Some of them are more obscure and perhaps not everybody has those, so here are the lenses that I'm going to test. Primes, I'm going to test Canon 40 2.8 STM, Canon 50 1.8 STM, Canon 85 1.2L Mark 1, not Mark 2 but Mark 1, the older version of that lens, Sigma 35-1.4 Art. In terms of zoom lenses, I have Canon 17-40L, Canon 24-105L version 1, Canon 70-200 2.8L non-IS, older version, and the last but not least, Sigma 150-600 Art. That's not Art, that's contemporary. I will test those 8 lenses with both adapters. I'll go to the park and shoot some photographs, and I'll tell you what I think about it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to test all those lenses wide open, and I'm gonna start by testing the single autofocus by doing the center spot, then I do a full area spot, and then I'm going to try continuous autofocus. And if I see that it works, I'll try different zones and maybe auto, and see if the phase detection works and see if the eye detection works. And I'm going to do this with respect to all of the lenses. Right now I'm going to test Sigma 35 Art, and I'm going to start by testing it at this with the Sigma MC11 adapter. And now 70-200 2.8 non-IS. Now I'm using the 24-105L on Sigma MC11 adapter. Now I'm gonna test 17-40L on Sigma MC11 adapter. Now we're going to test 85L Mark 1, 8512 Mark 1 over Sigma MC11 adapter. Now I'm going to test Canon 50mm 1.8 STM over Sigma MC11 adapter. Now we're going to try 40mm 2.8 STM pancake on Sigma MC11 adapter. And now we're going to test Sigma 150 to 600 contemporary and Sigma MC11 adapter. Let's test this big guy. My 35 art and Sigma MC11 adapter, I do want to test continuous autofocus because it appears that Sigma with Sigma continuous autofocus somewhat works. 70 to 200 2.8 L non-IS on Metabones 4 adapter. Unfortunately, with Metabones so far, continuous autofocus seems not to be working. Single autofocus seems to be working. 85L doesn't work great with Metabones adapter. Either continuous autofocus or single autofocus, it's struggling. It will work once in a blue moon, and even the IF works in once in a blue moon. But would I rely on this combination? Not with this particular firmware. I'll test 50 1.8 STM on Metabones adapter. I was just trying to test the 50 with different settings, and for some reason 50 was not doing a good job with Metabones. It actually did a better job with Sigma MC11 than it was doing with Metabones on this combination. I don't know how to explain it. Metabones adapter over 40mm 2.8 STM lens. I'm going to now test this combination. $40mm 2.8 over Metabones, continuous autofocus doesn't work. Metabones obviously need to update its adapter firmware to work with Sony A9 because for right now it's just single autofocus with most of the lenses that I've tried. Now I'm doing Sigma 35 1.4 art over Metabones adapter. 1.4 335 art is a great lens, but continuous autofocus doesn't work with Metabones adapter. Right now I want to also test IF and single autofocus mode to see if that works. I'm going to try it right now. IF is looking, but having problems. No, slowly but surely. No, let's try continuous autofocus in INF. No, it's not finding focus. So I did go to the park and I shot some photographs that you've seen. And I've tested the lenses with those two adapters on Sony A9. And then I went to the beach and took some more photographs with a couple of lenses and Sony A9. What I can tell you about the camera is amazing. The camera is great. I like it. The picture quality you get out of this camera is beautiful. It's pretty much just as good as A7R2 but smaller size photographs. In terms of battery life, the battery life is really good. I've shot probably 1500 photos in 2 days and I still have 20% left. It was shooting photographs with adapters, which I'm sure adds to how much electricity is needed. And I also shot some videos. I transferred some of those photos and videos to a cell phone, and I still have 20% left. So your biggest problem is going to be not the battery but the card, because this thing with its 20 frames per second or 10 frames per second, it's hard to tell. All I can tell you, it's really fast. But it eats through cards like there's no tomorrow. I put a 32 gigs SanDisk card in there yesterday, the highest capacity SanDisk card, not the highest capacity, but the fastest SanDisk card that they make, 280. And that thing, it went through that card in like a couple of hours. So you'll need a number of cards when shooting A9. Now, in terms of the autofocus, there are obviously issues, but I don't think it has anything to do with the camera. It has more to do with adapters, and both of those adapters will need to be updated. They will need to come up with better firmware because there are issues with either one of them. And there are issues with continuous autofocus, there are issues with the single autofocus with some of the lenses. Hopefully Metabones and Sigma will come up with adapters, will come up with firmware updates for those adapters in near futures for A9 use. Generally in terms of autofocus, continuous autofocus, with respect to either Metabones or Sigma, forget about it. But Sigma actually tells you that if you go to their page, when they talk about MC11 adapter, it'll tell you that single autofocus is supported on Sigma lenses and continuous autofocus is not supported or not supposed to be supported. In terms of Canon lenses, I've got pretty good results with single autofocus when the model was just standing there. With both Metabones and Sigma, Sigma actually did better than Metabones in majority of the tests, surprisingly. For example, with the 85L, the autofocus on that lens is very slow with either Sigma or Metabones. But I gotten some photos in focus with it, probably about half, which is pretty decent. Continuous autofocus, forget about it. 24 to 105 was actually surprisingly good. Now with 24 to 105, I actually got some photos in focus with continuous autofocus, but because it's an f4 lens, it's hard to tell you whether it's the lens tracking or maybe the field is so deep that you can't really tell. So I can't tell you. In terms of 70 to 200, I got most photos in focus over Sigma adapter. With respect to Metabones adapter, I got half of the photos in focus, and I'm talking about single autofocus. Continuous autofocus, pretty much forget about it. 40 and 50 Canon, same. Single autofocus, no problems. Continuous autofocus, no go. Now, with respect to Sigma lenses on Sigma adapter, with respect to 3514R, it's actually very interesting because in single autofocus mode, it would actually have problems focusing on A9. But when I would switch to continuous autofocus, it would actually find focus faster than with a single AF, and it would actually give great results as long as the model was not moving. So with the current firmware on Sigma MC11 with 3514, I would recommend with this combination A9, MC11 and Sigma 3514 to keep your camera in continuous autofocus mode. You'll achieve focus faster. Another problem that I've noticed is in terms of IAF, it does work with some of the lenses here, but it would often focus on the wrong eye, not on the closest eye, but on the eye that is further away, so that doesn't really work that well. In general, my conclusion is if you want A9, you better have some money for native lenses, because its use with Canon and Sigma lenses to me was less than satisfactory. I mean, I've taken some photos in focus, but it was not reliable enough, especially in continuous autofocus, that I would want to use it on everyday basis. I mean, it works, but it doesn't work very well. Now, I hope that both of those manufacturers, Sigma and Metabones, will produce firmwares for A9, and perhaps after that I'll retest it and hopefully we'll get better results. But at this particular point, the autofocus is not great. Thank you.